any other franchise, they sign someone like that, it's let's go. It's a celebratory thing. They're going all in. But with this Detroit Tigers thing and the situation they find themselves in, you know what my reaction was? Shit. I was thrilled at first for about 15 seconds. And then I put my head in my hands, and I was like, oh, no. Is this the prerequisite move before Tarik Skubal is dealt? There's two ways you can think about this. You can be optimistic, and you can say, okay, the Tigers actually have, like now it's undisputed, the best duo of starting pitchers in the American League between back-to-back Cy Young, Tarik Skubal, and Framber Valdez, who's finished top 10 in Cy Young voting each of his 6 years as a starter. There's that way of thinking about it. He's this durable dude, like fantastic pitcher, one of the 5 best guys in the American League. And then on top of that, you got Jack Flaherty, you got Casey Mize, all-star Casey Mize. You've got Reese Olson, who, whether he's healthy or not, I guess is kind of up in the air right now. You've got Troy Mellon, who showed great signs last year. You've got Jackson Joe potentially coming back at the end of this season as well. This is a lights-out rotation. Like, truly, they have recaptured what they had in 2012, 2013, 2014 when they had Verlander and Scherzer. Like, they got Skubal, that second guy. It's no longer, well, who's hot this month between Flaherty and Mize and Olson. They've got their guy in Framber Valdez. That's one way of thinking about it. They leaned into their strength. First 2 games in a series, you feel like you're going to win. The more realistic way to think about it is probably, did they just sign Tarik Skubal's replacement? A lefty. They go way overspend. Not overspend on him, but like overspend more than what we anticipated them doing. There wasn't a single reporter out there that like even had floated this idea around. Again, it came truly out of nowhere. So why? Tarik Skubal's arbitrations today, it's going to be either $32 million that they owe him, or it's going to be $19 million that they owe him, depending on what the 3-panel arbiter table goes with. So some of the reporting from Cody Stavenhagen on The Athletic was, okay, if the Tigers are going to lose this arbitration battle to $32 million, that's what they're going to owe him. That's probably it for this offseason. But if they win and only owe him $19 million, well, then there's another $13 million they can spend on a pitcher to add to the rotation. They said, well, we're not even going to wait. We're going to give this guy $32 million a year. There's an opt-out after year 2. Some of it's deferred. Anyway, $32 million a year, highest paid left-handed pitcher ever. Let's pair these guys up. So what's the reasonable way of thinking about this, Kyle? Is it, hey, the Tigers have the best rotation in the American League, like one of the true, could be all-time great rotations. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. Or is it, oh, man, this is just trying to soften the blow for when Tarik Skubal's traded? Because you and I have been under the same way of thinking. They'd rather just let Tarik Skubal walk and be all in on this season, get their draft pick in compensation for him leaving in free agency, and then suddenly he's gone. And they'd rather go all in than trade him away and not go all in at all. Now that you have Framber Valdez, who is, like, even if Skubal leaves, you still have an awesome rotation now, a true ace on the team. You've got 2 of them. Is this oh, man, they're just setting it up to potentially move off of Tarik Skubal. What's the proper way of thinking about this?
I think that the first proper way of thinking about this is, like, whatever happens with Tarik Skubal, this is a good move for the Tigers. And I think that it's just important to note that, because we're going to do a lot of, like, well, what does this move actually mean? You know, and I think we're going to do a lot of that, which is fair, because, like, what does this move actually mean? I think that's going to be something that we're going to find out. But nonetheless, this
solving
is
a Zodiac mystery right here. This
right.
is crazy.
But nonetheless, this is an awesome move from a general manager and an ownership group that we just don't view as awesome. So I love Framber Valdez, man. He's one of the few guys that you actually feared in the American League. I think he had the game, though, against the Tigers late in the season last year where he gave up like 10 runs in the first inning. So the Tigers fans are going to remember him for that. But, no, Framber's awesome. These 2 plus Garrett Crochet, probably the 3 best lefties maybe in all of baseball, not even just the American League. And so, yeah, this is for sure a big-time move. But it's hard not to view this from a standpoint of, like, this means they're for sure not bringing back Tarik Skubal. Like, if there was any doubt that if you still had any frame that, oh, they could still pay Tarik Skubal. You never know. When they get to the open market, they might still pay Tarik Skubal. That's that's obviously not happening now. Now, you can look at this a few different ways. One, was this a move based off of what we are going to find out today, based on the Tarik Skubal arbitration results? Do they know the results of that, and they made this move? I don't think it's a coincidence, Ben, that this move happens the day of his arbitration hearing.
No, but
right?
it almost makes you think as if they're going to win it, which I find that super hard to believe.
See,
I laid it out yesterday, and I can explain it again like in 20 seconds. Between Tarik Skubal, he asked to be the highest paid arbiter player in MLB history. He asked for $1 million more than what Juan Soto got a couple of years ago. I don't think that's crazy to ask for, considering back-to-back Cy Young. And because he has the years of service time, the 3 years, he can compare himself to Scherzer or Wheeler or any of the top paid pitchers in baseball and be like, well, I'm better than those guys. Why am I not getting that? I think it's inconceivable that they lose this arbitration. So if they win it, why was the reporting that if they lost and had to owe him $32 million, they weren't going to spend? Well, now they're spending regardless. I think it's totally natural for us to feel a little bit worried about are they actually beating the drum on trading Tarik Skubal, or are they just all in on this season, which is my preferred way of thinking about it. One thing I know for a fact is there's just no way Tarik Skubal's being extended long term now.
Right.
There's no chance.
So you think that they won the arbitration is why they made this move, the Tigers? Like they saved the money, or you're thinking the opposite?
No, that's what I'm struggling to understand right now.
Because the way that I view this is that if this move was based on the Skubal arbitration, which there's a good chance it wasn't. Like there's a good chance they were just in on Framber no matter what, and this was kind of their answer to post Tarik Skubal anyways. Which, once again, this is based off of what we know about this ownership group, it's a pretty good move off of Tarik Skubal. Here's Framber Valdez. I know that sounds stupid. I know Tigers fans are going to hate that because why not just keep Tarik Skubal? I understand. But I can view this as I think this, if it is based off of the arbitration stuff, they lost the arbitration with Tarik Skubal. And obviously that already there's going to be an odd relationship there based off of what's happened this offseason. But they lost that number. They're paying him $13 million more than they wanted to. And so, okay, now we're just going to go find his replacement and trade him now. That's kind of immediately what I thought. Now, I don't know if they're going to trade him, but nonetheless, this at least adds to the perspective that you and I have both had related on coming into this offseason of, does it make sense for them to trade Tarik Skubal if they're not going to pay him? Of course it does, and they probably should. Do we want them to? No. Give Tarik Skubal his last dance. Give him his one final year. Let's go push for a World Series. I'm going to be way less mad when Tarik Skubal walks in free agency if I'm celebrating a World Series ring.
Oh, you won't be mad at all.
Right. I still will be a little. I'll be sad. I won't be mad. I guess I'll just be sad. But
now you're
if you win a World Series, then it's just then I'm not going to be upset about it. And maybe this is their opportunity to do that.
But now maybe you're in a position to where okay. You at least have to be a little bit more open about, well, what if we just trade Tarik Skubal now before the season even starts and you actually get your return in investments on him the best that you can? That has to be at least one avenue that you explore. Okay, I'm not saying I want to trade Tarik Skubal. We're 12 hours removed from this news being broken. I don't want to trade Tarik Skubal, but you at least have to sit down and have a really serious conversation now of, well, we have Framber Valdez. We have depending on where we trade Tarik Skubal, maybe the best left-handed pitcher in baseball, in the American League, that is, maybe the second best. But you at least got to beat the drum, because now I'm sure teams are picking up the phone and being like, well, if you're going to sign him, Valdez, well, you're not keeping Skubal, right? This almost seems like a direct message to Tarik Skubal, hey, you're not replaceable, doesn't it? In the middle of their arbitration day, they have their hearing yesterday. The announcement's coming today on if it's $32 or $19 million that they owe him for a salary in this season. This can't be a coincidence that this happens in between the hearing and the announcement. It feels like a direct message to Tarik Skubal that we can do this without you.
Right, yeah, that's how I feel. I think it's no coincidence. I understand that, the MLB free agency is weird. Guys get signed throughout the entire offseason, but it is not a coincidence that this happens at the same time as all of this. And I personally, as terrible as it sounds, man, I love Tarik Skubal. I've never been more in on trading him. I've never been more in on it.
Me too.
It just makes way more sense right now than it did yesterday. And it sucks to say that because I'm not going to say trade Skubal, but from an organizational standpoint for the Tigers, a team that is not going to pay him. We all know they're not going to pay him. It makes the most sense to do it now.
And I feel like there's been certain checkpoints this offseason of The arbitration thing basically set it in stone for me. Oh, they're not going to pay this guy. They're clearly not going to do it. They're lowballing him right now. Now them bringing in another pitcher for 3 years and making him one of the highest paid pitchers in baseball. Yeah, like this is like the tombstone finally being put in of his career with the Tigers. There's no way they extend him after this. I think it's now the smart thing to do. I never thought it was. I thought the smart thing to do was just go all in. And I know that was against the grain. I wanted to go all in, try to compete for a World Series.
I mean, this is doing that right now. As of right now, that's what they're doing. Skubal's still on the team, and they are going all in.
Yeah, it's just. Here's the thing: if you're going to trade him, I'd rather them do it before the season than in the middle of it.
Of course, I mean, yeah, no doubt.
This is just. How much would you pay to watch the arbitration hearing today? Like if it was a pay-per-view, we're kind of at the end of the era of pay-per-views. Now everything's just on a streaming platform, but. If this was on like Amazon Prime for a one-time purchase, how much would you pay to watch this?
I mean, a good amount. I think it'd be fun. I mean,
Me too.
They already did it yesterday, right?
I know. That would have been the more fun thing to watch.
Yeah, and we have no idea time on that. I would assume it happens in the morning, so hopefully this happens during our show. Tarik Skubal posted on his Instagram story as well, Framber Valdez, welcome to Detroit kind of thing, which I thought was hilarious. I've already seen the fan reaction of like, why aren't they just paying Skubal this money? Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
That's
Tarik
the number
Skubal,
one way of outing yourself that you don't really know what you're
I
talking
agree.
about.
Like, if they're going to pay, if you're going to pay anything, like, why not just fork over? This is a difference of $300 million we're talking here.
Yeah.
Between what total. Framber Valdez is on a short-termer deal. Obviously, Skubal's going to be a 10-year deal. So
that number's actually going to be so insane. When the notification comes through of whatever team extending him or him signing anywhere, the 10 years, $400 million, it's just going to be like, oh, my God, it's a different sport than what the Tigers are playing right now. But you do have to, like, the Tigers do deserve a little bit of credit for this. As much as I have a love-hate relationship with this team and this organization specifically, and as much as I like to, I don't enjoy it, but like, man, they piss me off more than the other three teams in Detroit. They really do. This is a good move. It's the only way to think about this. This can't be considered anything else. And even if they go on to trade Tarik Skubal, the succession plan is not terrible. It really isn't. You have Jackson Jobe. You have Troy Melton. I've always made the case you can just have all three. Now you having a guy like Framber Valdez, okay, like the succession plan is there. Replacing him with another lefty who's at the top of the Major League Baseball in terms of who the best lefties available are, who the best lefties just in general are. So it's a good move for the Tigers. What does it actually mean, I think, is the bigger puzzle piece that we're trying to figure out. 989-837-6125. How do you view this? Win for the Tigers. They're going all in on Tarik Skubal's last season. Or is this simply softening the blow for them trading him? Are they